and we're off to see whether Iran lives up to it.
We shall see.
And whether the United States
NBC's
and the
Andrea Mitchell
lift the sanctions as they've promised.
Thank you, Andrea. You know, just here at home even, it'll be interesting to see if there is a deal beyond how it's received, because you have John Boehner. The other headlines here domestically are, you know, please, I'd prefer if you walked away, or I'd be okay if you walked away from the deal. I think there's pressure for it to be the deal they want.
Right, and it's not just Republicans that are putting the pressure on Democrats as well. Bob Menendez was on the morning shows yesterday talking about this specific issue as well. So it's interesting. Andrea's covered this so many times. We've been such so close to a deal, wondering what is different in reading the tea leaves this time around than the past few.
We shall see. We're going to continue to follow this story throughout the morning, and who knows, there may be a change here. Joe?
Yeah, I just was going to say, though, I mean, Andrea just slipped in there talking about the possibility of lifting an arms embargo, something that wasn't even part of the deal earlier. And it seems the deal just keeps getting worse. And when you start talking about lifting a UN arms embargo again, that's not just a concern to us. That is a concern to all of our Sunni allies across the Mideast. This deal just seems, at least from what we're hearing, from what's being reported, seems to keep going from bad to worse. Bad for worse, not just for the United States, but David Ignatius, also for Israel, but also, more importantly, for our allies in the Middle East, the Sunnis, who now wake up to hear a very real possibility that there's not going to be anytime, anywhere inspections. There's not going to be an accounting for past nuclear activities at military bases. And just thrown in the last week, the possibility of lifting an arms embargo that would send a horrific message, I believe, to our Sunni allies across the Mideast.
Joe, I would just caution, this close to the final deal, we shouldn't speculate about the terms. What my sources tell me is pretty much what Andrea heard a few minutes ago. I heard from a senior U.S. official that they're close, but that they're still working on the hardest issues. You named most of them. The issue on inspections that they've come down to is finding a program for what they call managed access by the IAEA to Iranian sites. And it would be quite similar to provisions in other arms control agreements between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, but they're writing very technical details for that. The question of this arms embargo list being lifted, which was a throwaway that was added at the last minute by Iran, is particularly damaging, because Israel will see that as a direct threat. It will arm the people Israel is fighting. The Sunni Arabs, as you said, will see this as a major capitulation by the U.S. So that's really important in terms of the politics of the deal.
All right, we still got